Hello everyone, how are we all doing today? Doing good? Alright, let's get this started. So, welcome to the stream everyone. Let's move this off the window. What does LTOB stand for? It doesn't stand for anything. It stands for ELTTOB. Yeah, yes, there are voices in your head. Ooh, spooky. Alright, but anyway, enough of messing with Noble's head. So welcome back to Fusion Friday. I'm again very excited for today because we're actually working on something for once. I've really managed to pull myself out of a bit of a motivation rut thanks to these streams. So we're working more on our city builder, so we should probably open Studio right about now. But I have completely dedicated myself to not touching it whatsoever since last stream, so you're not missing anything. I'm not doing anything off stream. I want this to be completely 100% live. So there are a couple things that came to my mind while I was away from the screen. It's stuff that I want to think about a bit more today. The first thing that I want to think about is different platform support, and this is primarily mobile support, but also we need to start thinking about gamepads and other stuff like that. We're not necessarily going to be designing for them right now, but we need to consider how our UI will accommodate for them in the future, and we need to keep that at least in the back of our head as we sort of go forward, which is not something I was doing before. So I'll make sure that my UI is all like scalable and everything. It all works like that. And there was something else. What was it? I can't remember, and therefore it probably isn't important. That's the rule, right? Anyway. So, where we left off, that's a bit unsatisfying. I promised you two things, but you only got one. Anyway, where we left off, I'll just show you. For those of you who weren't around here for the last stream, now you'll be caught up. So we're working on a city building tycoon, and we added a little like shift sprint thing using Fusion, of course, and then we did all the basic framework for like owning a plot and making sure you don't have multiple of them. And right towards the end, we even did a bit of work with tile generation, which is why we have all these trees here and grass and everything. And that's all we've done really so far. It's very much groundwork. It's very much far from being any kind of complete. But the thing that I want to really get started on today is working on that whole tile thing. So before we actually jump into working on this, I just want to think through what exactly we're going to need to do here, because we have a 48 by 48 grid of tiles, and we need this grid of tiles to not only exist on the server, which is where the game logic is going to be happening, but we also need this on the client, and this is so that the client can render them and display them. I don't like to rely on Roblox replication for this sort of stuff. I like to do it all in Lua because it's just a lot more controllable. If you're wondering why I have literally nothing open, it's because I have been working off of my TV for the past forever. I just need to... Where is Studio? Just need to reorganize it again because I have, for the past week, been working on blocks. I've also been working on a couple VR prototypes. And you've obviously seen the blocks tweets. They've been pretty fun. I have to show you my workflow for working off of my laptop while connecting to Studio on my desktop one day. It's actually kind of nifty. But we're getting off topic immediately. So we are going to need to go to lot. This is the server lots here. And the first thing we're going to need to do is we're going to need to set up a grid of tiles. So we'll do self.tiles equals table.create. And we're going to need lot size. How should we get that? Should we calculate it? I think we should calculate it. So we already, yeah, like that. So we can just copy paste this over. And we use lot model instead of self.model. Tile size was a constant from here. Alrighty, we should probably move that out to a dedicated constants file. So we'll call this constants, and we'll just return tile size is 6. Probably a good idea to keep this in one place is the logic. I might go back and change that at some other point, but who cares? We're just getting it to work right now. So we'll keep it together with replicated storage stuff. Constants equals require replicated storage dot constants. Also, by the way, with module scripts, do remember they can return whatever you want them to. So feel free to return functions from module scripts, tables from module scripts. You can return nil if you're doing like a type definition module script. Whatever you want. So lot size dot x, and then we'll do for x equals 1 lot size dot x self dot tiles x equals, yeah, we do table dot create lot size dot y, like that. That'll give us a 2-dimensional table, and that is fantastic. Let's check chat. So, let me just you guys just freaking out about my name? Yeah, I have a name. It's cool. I don't know what to say about it. L-Top has a face. Actually, no. I think you'll be very disappointed to find I'm actually a VTuber, and this is actually a really hyper-realistic model. I've done lots of work to really rig it up to make it look like it's realistic. This has about 6,082 bones and somewhere in the region of 15 million tries. I even used like a bit of like compute shading in order to get the hair to look just right with that proper like physics and bounce. Really proud of it. Yeah. So what font am I using in script editor? JetBrains Mono. And let's see. This should be easier than unions and grids. A lot easier, I would hope. So are you watching it on your TV, Liar? Is that in response to someone else? Because I'm definitely not watching this on my TV. I'm performing it on my PC. Localize self-tiles for performance, please. I don't know when this runs though. Really isn't worth it. This runs at the very beginning of the game. It only gets initialized once, and this code is just a hell of a lot more readable. And something that I'm going to get on my soapbox here for something that I was guilty of 1 year ago, and that is premature optimization. Don't optimize things that don't need to be optimized. You're not an expert. Do not optimize it. If you have performance problems, then you can start to look at optimizing it. But until that day, optimize nothing. Make it as horrible and inefficient as you want to. You have full permission to, because it probably isn't a problem. Premature optimization is going to be the death of your code base, and the more of it you do, the less happy you will be with your code a year from now. Trust me, I've worked on Blocks, and Blocks is full of premature optimization, and I hate myself for it. So don't do that. Anyway. Yeah. Anyway, it'd be nice if you could stop obsessively reading into everything on my screen. It's a bit creepy. I mean, I can't stop you. It's on the screen. It's my fault for having it there. But also, please be normal. So with all due respect, it is a bit creepy, and I am just a regular guy. So can you please treat me like one? I don't want to be idolized or anything. Yeah, I do love you guys. It's just that, yeah, like I'm a guy. It's a thing, right? Anyway, I'm sorry, the doctor said I was not normal. Oh yeah, we know about you, Noble, right? I mean, come on, we're literally besties. I know how off the wall you are already. What was I doing again? All right, self.tiles. Yeah. Now we're going to need some functions for that. I think I should do this for consistency with the rest of the code. Function self. Well, what the actual tile is going to be though? I mean, the obvious answer is an object, right? But I think for now, I'm just going to stick with strings. I'm going to be quirky, right? Strings, they'll do fine. We'll call it IDs or something. So set tile. Do we really need that? Yes, we do need that because we need to run some code. So actually we need to... I am in fact going to localize it after all because I don't want it to be part of the object. I want this to be private. So self set tile, we'll say tile X, tile Y, tile type. And then we'll do tiles, tile X, tile Y equals tile type. And then we need to replicate that change to the client, presumably. Function self get tile, tile X, tile Y. Just return tiles, tile X. This is bog standard stuff. You've probably seen code like this a billion times. We're also going to want function self reset lot. The reset lot will set the owner to nil. I think we should default this, actually, thinking about it. Actually, tiles will be that, and then we will just define it here to be that. Then reset lot will be our initializer, right there. Not the allocation, we can then reset lot there. Then we'll set the default tile to be grass tile. Alright, that seems reasonable to me. Let's add some remotes. If I can click my mouse. Also be on my idle. Thanks. Threw me over normal pills a few weeks ago. Big mistake, have to wear a mask all the time now. Yeah, you can't be spreading that abnormality of yours. Gotta keep the competition weak. Oh my god, I'm going mad. I've been reclining the wrong module this whole time. It's a module that has a yield in it. I'm so sorry. Yeah, string tiles, yeah. I mean, it's going to be just unique identifiers, right? You just need to be able to tell what's grass, what's a tree, what's whatever, house, path. I mean, we could probably get more in depth with it later, but for now, minimum that works. Wog1, my G. Not much. Just working on a Fusion Friday game because it doesn't have a real name yet. It's literally called Fusion Friday game. We'll come up with one later. Hashtag premature optimization? No. Bad hashtag. Bad. Yeah. I only make libraries, so I'm just doing whatever is faster. I mean, do what you want, I guess. Finally got it working. Congratulations. So, anyway, so we're going to need show toast. Set tile, was it lot set tile, or on tile set, and then we will do on tile, was it on lot reset, because that'll be more efficient than setting all the tiles. So then we do replicated storage dot remote dot on tile set fire all clients, and then we're going to be firing it. Right, we do not actually have any unique identifiers for lots. Well, we'll fix that right now. We'll do initialization, will be lot model, set attribute, UUID, no, we'll do incremental ID. Screw it. Local next lot ID is going to be 1. Local lot ID is going to be that, and then plus equals 1. Then the lots ID is just going to be lot ID. Like that. So now we can use lot ID to refer to the lot, tile X, tile Y, tile type. Fantastic. And then we can do a very similar deal. Reset, on lot reset, firewall clients, and then we just need the lot ID because it doesn't take any arguments. Fantastic. So we now have some server infrastructure for that. Now we need some client infrastructure. So firstly we can get rid of this. Well, we should probably comment it out because it is good functional code. But the first thing we need, local lot ID equals lot model get attribute ID. We'll just do a bit of a safety thing here. While lot ID is nil, do get attribute change signal ID wait, like that. I just say for safety. I don't actually know if I need that or not, but it's good to have it anyway, just in case. So now let's see. We're going to need some tiles, of course. What am I doing? Lot. Client lot, like that. And should we just... Oh, you know what we should do? I know what I want to do. So if I... Oh yeah, we need lot size as well. So I'm literally just thinking through this all like right now. This is all spur of the moment. Constants we need as well. Get storage dot constants. Fantastic. Well, instead of doing a 2D array of strings, here we're going to do a 2D array of state objects. This is going to be interesting. Equals table dot create lot size dot x, and for x equals 1, lot size dot x, do tiles x is table.create lot size.y. And then for y equals 1, lot size.y, we do tiles xy equals state grass tile, just like that. And so what this will allow us to do is this will allow us to hook it right into some Fusion code, which will just handle all the models for us, which is going to be absolutely lovely. Going to care set owners, params, types on the class. I don't think you need to do it again. Oh right, we have that, don't we? I always forget. So destroy client model owner. I mean, we're not going to need these functions actually. I don't know why I copied them over, because the client is just shadowing the server essentially. The server is what actually does the game logic, the client just renders it. Which, by the way, is the correct way of doing anything like this. Don't do it any other way. The server should be authoritative. There's very few exceptions where the client should be handling anything. And so we'll say lot tile updating. We didn't want to make that function, thanks. Cell, I'll say replicated storage dot remote on tile set dot on client event connect, and this is going to be a function of lot ID, tile x, tile y, and tile type, just like so. We will do tiles x, y, set tile type, and that will just immediately invoke all of the necessary stuff. Lot resetting, right, tile x and tile y, because we're being specific about what coordinate space we're using. On lot reset. And in here we are just going to have to loop over everything, unfortunately. Tiles xy set grass tile. This is not the end of the world though. Are those lines in the script editor normal? That looks cursed. Those are called rulers. I have one at 80 characters and I have one at 120 characters, and that just tells me when my lines of code are too long. I tried to keep my documentation strings to 80 characters wide because that's about the optimal length for human reading. But my code I let expand to 120 characters because code more naturally fits into those bounds without being all cramped up. So yeah. To have lot tile updating, lot resetting, and then I guess all we need to do now is tile generation. Right, so let's use Fusion, guys. I'm going to say local lot tile folder equals new folder. This, and we're going to use Fusion for rendering our stuff. Fusion.new, which is a bit interesting, but it should be capable. Name is lot tile folder. Parent self.model. Cool, cool, cool. We have children that we need. Then as a child, what's it going to be? Computed pairs, I would wager, would be a good bet here, because pairs equals fusion dot computed pairs, because we are iterating over a table. We'll be iterating over tiles. Say function. So the key is tile x, and we'll say tile column And then we'll do return computed pairs again. Tile column function tile y. And this will be the actual tile state. Return computed. Do we need a computed? No, we don't need a computed. We could just use the tile state right here, and that would work perfectly fine. So we'll do return replicated storage.tiles, find first tile, tile state get, clone. Okay, so firstly, no, this is going to be local model. What's that? Hey, this is a bit of an interesting way of doing it because Fusion does not have good hydration support yet. So we are sort of hacking our way around it. But this is good stuff to know for future API design. So say model.name equals tile, tile x, and tile y. This is good for debugging purposes, so we can see what we're working with in the Explorer. Pivot to tile C frame, which you're going to need to calculate here. So tile C frame, we have lot C frame, so say lot area that's C frame. And then constants dot tile size rather than just straight up tile size. This seems reasonable. And then we just return model. I guess this does show you the flexibility of Fusion, though. How when Fusion doesn't meet your needs, you just dip into like regular code, right? So this should be everything, I think. Publish, just in case Studio decides to throw a hissy fit. And let's hope this doesn't murder our performance. Well, the good thing is it doesn't, and the good thing is that it works perfectly. You might not necessarily notice it, but we are walking on tiles. And so, what kind of game are we making? We are making a city builder. So now if we went to the server here, and as part of the reset lot procedure, we decided to then self set tile. We're going to need to fetch the tiles on the client side as well because this might not work. So if we set, I don't know, 10, 10 to tree tile, this may or may not replicate correctly because I am forgetting a bit of code. Right, yes. So the thing that we're forgetting is that if a client joins late, they need to grab the contents of a lot. So we'll do a remote function and just say get lot tiles like that. Not allocation, not deallocation. We'll deal with that type error in a bit. Lot tile retrieval. We'll just say replicated storage dot remote dot get lot tiles, and we'll define this as a function actually. Function. That is. There we go. Dot get lot tiles dot on server invoke. I believe it is. Sender is going to be a player. Lot ID. Oh, right. Yeah, so we can't actually define this once for every lot. So we're going to define it here. It's a bit gross, but who cares? Let's say local lot. All lots. That types dot lot. And then we just save it in there. Why is this having a fizzy fit? Right, yes, it's the same problem that we had before. We can fix this now. Where is this? Service script service. Good, good, good. Set tile is going to be a type lot. Tile X number. Tile Y number. Tile type string. Do that. Get tile. Not tile X number. Tile Y number. This returns string. Reset lot just takes a lot. I believe those are the types we used. Yep. What's this complaining about? Get tile, reset lot, set tile. Yep. Cool. So that will be all good. So lot ID is just going to be a number. So something important here, we need to sanitize. So if the lot ID, actually this could be any, right? If type of lot ID is not number, then return. Now say local lot equals all lots, lot ID. We also need more here. So if type of lot ID is not number, and math.floor. Actually, we'll do lot ID %1. Yeah, there should be all here. So we're just sanity checking everything. Or lot ID less than 1. Here's a if lot is nil, then return. Really, we should return false malformed arguments. This should be sort of like a p call almost. Lot not found. And then we'll just do return true. Lot. Say lot. Get tiles, I guess. We are at this point. We may as well do that. We'll just do self.tiles equals tiles. Type any couldn't be converted to lot. That's kind of an interesting one. When Roblox add Fusion support, Roblox already supports Fusion because Fusion was built on Roblox. Imagine Vanilla becomes Roblox theme, like a theme selector. I wish they would never do that because they have not invented here syndrome and they like to do everything in-house. I'm not going to comment on whether this is a successful strategy. Roblox is, after all, still around after all these years. Let's just say it's not a strategy I would have chosen. Oh, that's going to be slow. You guys really need to stop worrying about performance. If I'm not lagging the hell out, it's not a problem. Please stop that backseat optimizing everything. It's not going to do you any favors. The 5.4 curse, are you going to write a class for remote so you don't rely too much on instances? No, because that's dumb. The instances work just fine. This has never been a problem. Why did you make it any if it can only be a number? Because it won't only be a number because you never trust the client. The client can send whatever the hell it wants. You have to verify it yourself. If you trust the client, then they might be able to do some very bad things with your server. Right now I'm confused. At maximum, it can be a string too. It could be whatever they want to send. And it will be sent. They can send a boolean, they can send nil, they could send an instance, they could send a vector3. You need to check it. Me hacking the light theme.json qt resource file to change the colors. Somehow it works. I should do that. This code is so slow, delete all of it to get 2000 FPS plus. Yeah, but then it wouldn't be a challenge, would it? Right, so. Alright, do it there, and then it stops complaining there. Reset lot is complaining about something else. Right, yeah. That's why that was complaining, presumably. There we go. Fantastic. There's extra field tiles. Say no more, fam. And all the errors are gone. Woo woo. Alright. But you don't do anything if it's not a number. Well, yeah, if it's not a number, we return false because it failed, right? And then lot.get tiles obviously doesn't exist. Lot.tiles is a lot better. You know, make this properly return. Billion string, or there we go. And that should be good on that end of things. And then client lot. The lot fetching. I'll set it to grass tile like that. And this will be a task.spawn because we want this to be asynchronous, because we are going to have a yielding call in here. So say local tile strings equals replicated storage dot remote dot get lot tiles invoke server, and so we want this to be lot ID, and then tile strings we will type to find this as string. And tiles xy will just set to tile strings xy. Fusion will handle the rest for us. So now, attempt to index boolean with number. That's not quite what I was looking for. Right. So, okay, tile strings. We'll say, if not okay, then error, tile strings. Attempt to index no number. 165 xy. Right. Let's see what's going on here. Is tile strings becoming nil? Yes. Why? Ah, I see. Now it will be absolutely perfect. See, just like that. Now you see we have the one tree. We just run over here. This tree was placed on the server and got replicated to the client and then rendered with Fusion. Not bad. The arg doesn't make sense because that's the point specifying type, so you can confirm something can only be one type. And as you showed, you're saying it failed because it wasn't a number, so tell the client that something went wrong, you don't do anything to functionally achieve this goal as a number or a string number. Whoever's able to have remote type intelligence, you'd be losing on the fact you would get a warning for it being the wrong type. What you are completely missing is that you would be totally kidding yourself if you were to say that that remote function could only ever accept a number. Because I could turn around, and I know I'm correct about this because I have done this for years. With absolute certainty, I can tell you that, where is the code for get lot tiles? Instead of lot idea here, I could pass in fish, right? And Roblox's type system would not catch this because it is not sophisticated enough yet to do that. And what would happen here is, if this was lot ID number, this lot ID would not be a number, even though we have type defined it as such, which makes it useless for type checking purposes. It's much more honest to say it's an any, because it can be anything. Roblox static typing does not cover the server client boundary. You still have to handle that yourself. Hello, Fusion Friday, let's go. I love Fusion. Don't we all? Yeah. Sorry, I'm just talking about types. But like, tile strings. Yeah, okay, cool. So we fixed that. Good, good, good. I guess the only thing I want to fix now is that either tile X or tile Y is kind of flipped around and I don't like it. So I want to try and get the tree into the bottom left corner of the lot. And I think this should do it. No, I did the opposite of what it was supposed to do. Oops. And the reason why is because it's more intuitive for me to think of it that way. Because that's a pretty standard coordinate space to use for 2D. I should probably have just sprinted for that. But oh well. Yeah, so that's 1010. Then we can see, yeah. All right, so we actually did that relatively quickly. I'm surprised. That's what happens when you use Fusion. Where are we setting that tree? There we go. So I think now we need to actually start making some tiles, right? But if it ever got that good, etc. Well, we need to stop designing for a future that may or may not happen. Because the very big problem with thinking like that is that what if it never does? And also, more importantly, what if it does it in 5 years' time? Or what if you have to rewrite the code by then? There's no point in architecting your code for the future of technology. Architect it for now, keep an eye on the future, and don't close yourself off from the future. But don't design expecting the future. That's really, really bad. Because if you design expecting the future, you will overcomplicate things, you'll make your life worse for yourself, you'll start writing code which is incorrect in the present, just so you can satisfy the future. that may or may not happen. This is something I've gone through time and time again. It's just that you may think it's smart to design everything assuming that the type checking is perfect and does its job perfectly, but the reality of the situation is it doesn't, and it will not type check your code perfectly. And so the best course of approach is to just be honest about what the type checker will actually do, which is not account for that situation. I'm going to leave it because it's became confusing. I think it's matter of consistency of type logic. Not really about that, but that would be nice. For me, it's more the fact that you shouldn't be lying to your server about what types are, because this is a very easy way to start introducing security holes. And you should call it an any because it can be anything, and you should type check it as such. If you start assuming the types of things even though you can't verify it, then you're going to get type checking issues in a statically typed code base that are really hard to track down. So just stop deceiving yourself about the types, right? It's not worth it. Anyway, we need to build more tiles, and so we shall do that. So my first thought is that we're going to need some kind of pathway tile. So we'll make it this one. And do 2 like that. And we'll just make like a small little pathway. Medium stone grey cobblestone. Is that the same colour? I think it is. And actually, I want to try something kind of nifty. I'm going to make the paths sort of like conditionally render based on like other things around them. That might be interesting to pursue. Question: if you errors that function, that may be a type set, would you make it be the specified type? Where that function if it's the wrong type? Lual type narrowing works with if statements as well as asserts. So the answer is yes, but also that's not the only way of doing it. The way that I'm doing it should, in theory, work as well. I think it very recently got support for it. Also, I just duplicated the model instead of the part because I was a bit distracted, which is not good. Oh, why am I worrying about fancy stuff right now? Let's just keep it simple, you know? KISS principle. Path tile, just make it that, right? That's what a path looks like. We can make it look pretty later. Need to really keep that in mind. And we're going to need a house tile. This is going to have a house on it. How big should the house be? That seems reasonable, I think. We just need to add the grass around to make it look extra fancy schmancy. And then we just build the body of the house like so. And what color should we make it? We'll make it seashell, I guess, and make it wood maybe, or we could do bricks. But I want something a bit more pronounced than that. Pastel brown. Linen. I want something that I can contrast the roof color with. I mean, you could make it randomly choose this color, but yeah, that'll do for now. Then we'll duplicate. Like that. That seems reasonable. Where is reclass? I don't have reclass open. make that a wedge part, please. Thank you. And I'm probably going to make this a little bit wider. So I can do that. My camera is very fast. Let me just turn on smooth camera so that isn't the case anymore. Turn down the move factor a bunch. There you go. Now I just need to make this not look terrible. How hard can that possibly be? I don't like that. That's a little bit better. Now we can just make a roof. We'll make extra granular. Now we can contrast this with a contrasting roof color. This is not necessarily going to be the most pretty looking house in the world, I will have to admit, but it will do the job. Sure. Oop. Now we have this problem here. How do we deal with that? The answer is by hiding it, of course. Make that dark top. Easy peasy. It even looks like a bit of detail. It's really just us avoiding pain. And that. Cool. Can I stop doing that, please? Like that. This is very engaging, I'm sure. There we go, got a little house. And then we just need a little door. And then we're going to be Gucci. It's kind of relaxing, you know. We'll keep it off to that side. That'll do for a house, I think. Right, and this brings me to the thought that we are going to need tile rotation. Damn, bro, pay a mortgage on that. Yeah, it's pretty sick. It's got one story. Pop the tiles in there. And we're going to do export type tile is going to be we'll say this as type string rotation number. And tile like that. Does this pick up the type annotations from? Can I tell? Anyway, I'll just tile types dot tile like that. Then we just need to do that. Do that so it passes on the type information. And then type equals grass tile, rotation equals 0. Now I'm going to want a copy function as well, maybe. Well, no, we'll just assume everything is immutable. For now, it's just going to be a bit simpler. This also means we need to change client lot. State type is grass tile, rotation 0. We say local tiles will be start tile like that. Local new tiles, so we don't have a conflict. This seems reasonable to me. We just need to define the types. We're just going to have type string, rotation number. And then in our rendering thing, just do that so it stops yelling at us. Say local tile is tile state get tile type. And then I'll format this a bit differently so that I can do some better indentation work. Like that. And it's going to have 3 angles to it. It'll have 0, math.pi divided by 2 times tile.rotation. Or we could just... No, that's fine, because we're only going to be incrementing in increments of 4. Or increments of 90, sorry. Which gives us 4 different rotations. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. Now this should not give us any errors. 2 people with N letter profile pictures. Yep. Next you're a noble. Cool, don't know why I went to go buy a plot because I wasn't going to change anything, but now what do I need to do? This is like a constant. I keep on blowing through my entire list of things I would need to do, and I need to come up with more stuff to do because the game is definitely not done yet. I just haven't thought that far ahead. The first thing I want to do is I want to check that rotation works, right? So self set tile 1 is going to be type equals house tile, rotation equals 0, and then we'll do 1, 2, and 3. We're going to do 2, 3, and 4. Did someone say my name? Yes, I did. Hi, Noble. What the house is doing? Okay, I actually quite like how they look. They look kind of cute. That's not half bad for how long they took to model. So now the client needs to be able to build on their lot if they have one. Which means we are going to need to invest a bit more in UI. Cool, so let's crack open here and we'll do model script and we'll call this build UI, I guess. So the props we will have for build UI is lot types of client lot. And then we need to import that, right? We'll say local types equals require replicated storage dot replicated storage dot is going to be player scripts dot types. Right. Oh god, why am I so tired? I just started streaming. This is unacceptable. So lot we fusion.state types.client lot. This is going to be optional because you do not always have a lot. I'm going to say local owns lot. I'm going to say local player owns lot. We don't really need that. But we need build GUI. Like that. Display order, we don't really care. Enabled, however, we do care. We make this a computed. We do return props.lot get is not nil. Easy peasy. So whenever we have a lot that is not nil, we enable the build UI. And then we'll just do something real quick and scuffed. So we will do new UI list layout of some description. Then we'll do a computed pairs over replicated storage.tiles get children function, and we'll just say tile name return new text label, name will be tile name, text will be tile name, and we should also do like a with props as well. So with props styles.font. This should be text button really. Like that. Return build GUI like that. Build UI. And we'll do computer pairs. All I'm doing is I'm just making a quick list we can use to select our current tile that we're building with. What are types in OOP? I've been confused about that for a while, but it seems really simple. Yeah, OOP and Luau types don't go together very well right now. So watch this space while we all figure out what the hell we're doing. I mean, the way that I'm currently approaching it is using explicit type definitions. I know some people are using type of. Some people are just running away from it and not touching it with a long stick, which is also a perfectly valid response. So now we'll do local build UI. Does require scripts.ui.build UI. Alright, my types what they should be, not what they can be. After all, they could be anything. Types in effect runtime after all. I don't agree with that philosophy. I think that's dishonest. I think that your types should honestly reflect whatever your code can receive within the constraints of strict type checking. And within the constraints of strict type checking, the client-server boundary is completely fair game for anything. So, yeah. Right, so now we're going to need to figure out which lot the player owns. I'm going to do build UI first of all, because that. And then we need lot equals we'll say owned lot, and we'll say owned lot equals state nil. Right. So how do we now detect? Well, we know what we do. We create a new remote. This is completely unnecessary, but we're going to do it anyway. And this is going to be on lot owned. And this is essentially going to be another way for our clients to learn about somebody who has become the owner of a lot. Let's say on lot owner changed. Or on lot owner. Yeah, on lot owner change. That makes sense to me. So then we do replicate storage dot remote dot. Why is it at the bottom? On lot owner change. And we will just fire all clients with lot ID and self-owner. And then this will be a really easy way for us to fix our whole little problem. Then do player lot ownership. And we'll just do replicate storage, the remote dot on lot owner change. On client event, connect, and this is going to be a function, and this will be lot ID new owner. And now we can just do if the new owner is if new owner is right, but then how are we going to get the lot? Crap. Right, change of tactic. We're going to move this code out here. and do task.spawn. We'll do engine init lot model. This will be of a type model, or well, really we don't really need to define the type. It's pretty obvious. We should do it anyway. There we go. Yeah, that makes sense. And then do local function destroy lot. I don't really know why we have this. We don't really need it. Lot model. This is very not type safe, but we'll come back and we will clean it up. Unit lot, and then destroy lots. And then this becomes number that. And then if new owner is players.local player, then owned lot set lots lot ID, else if lot ID is the current owned lot, then owned lot set nil. That should cover our bases. Anyway, the function I think where you put an or instead of a and after the type of number, which could cause an error if someone sends an invalid type. Owned. Yeah, I presume I've been owned, but I couldn't read a word of what you just wrote, so you're gonna have to clarify. So that doesn't work. Let's see. Build GUI is enabled. Right, it's because my text buttons have 0 size. Yeah, let's investigate this code that's supposedly really bad. So type of lot is not number, or lot ID is not 1, it's not 0, or... No, that seems perfectly fine to me. I have no idea what you're talking about. Yeah, I'd like to clarify that this is not a competition for who can point out the most about static typing. This is a game development stream, and I have nothing against you. I really could not care less about the specifics of types right now. It's like, do them however you want, right? Like, live your life. You just took long to read, lol. What can I do? I read slow. Okay. There you go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right, because I forget that the first thing is useless. Say tile model. And do tile model.name. Tile model.name. Just like that. And then this will show all the different tiles. Grass tile, house tile, path tile, and tree tile. 1 second, I need to go talk to my roommate because they are being loud in the kitchen, and this is bad because I do not want them to broadcast that to the entire world. I will be right back. Alright, sorry about that little interruption. I am back. Cool. So I don't want them to end up inadvertently broadcasting something they don't want the rest of the world to hear. There's a bit of stream delay too. Yeah, stream delay. I'll do it. Type of arg is number or arg 20. Why %2? We're checking if it's an integer, not whether it's an even number. No, this is over. I'm late, man. No, it's not over. I was just gone for a second. Don't know exactly what you're doing again, but anyway, it doesn't make sense since you're doing a calculation if it's not a number. 1 second. This is getting a bit annoying, I have to admit, but look, I'm going to explain this to you, and then I'm going to leave this piece of code because it works, all right? So firstly, type of lot ID is not number. So basically, we are making sure that lot ID is a number, first of all. We are then making sure that lot ID is an integer number, right? So if lot ID %1 is anything other than 0, then it's a floating point number, which is bad. We do not want that. We want integers. Then lot ID less than 1 is just making sure that our lot ID is not negative and it's not 0, because those are invalid lot IDs. We cannot have those. In any of these cases, we reject the arguments on the basis that they are malformed. It works, right? There's no bug here. Just leave it. If there was a bug here, we would have noticed by now, because it would have been rejecting perfectly valid lot IDs, and we'd be getting tons of errors in the output. This is not a contest. What am I doing right now? I mean, currently, I am working on allowing the player to build tiles on their city builder lot thing. Yeah. I mean, I do appreciate that you are looking out for me, and I do appreciate that you're looking for errors in my code. This is good. This is part of the reason why I live stream. But also, please just trust me when I say it works, because I have triple checked it at this point. Like, it works. Like, yeah. But thanks for the help anyway. The new owner is going to be a type of player. Lot ID is going to be a type of number. I am using the honest to God types here because from the server, like, because the server is statically type checked and trustable, it's not like a client where an exploiter can just send whatever they want over the barrier. Here, I am willing to concede that we should be using the types that we expect. But this is only because static type checking will basically take you the whole way there. Alright. It's not like dealing with exploiters on the client where they don't obey by type checker rules. Does Fusion have animation tutorial yet? So I think I should really clean up my code that has over 10 tweens. There are no animation tutorials yet, but don't worry about using too many tweens, right? Like, as long as your code is not gross, like it's not like grossly abusing tweens, then feel free to use as many as you need, right? Because some things will require more animation than others. Alright, so we are now going to need some more state objects. I'll say here, go away fly, local current, let's say local selected tile name equals state grass tile, local current rotation is going to be state 0. I guess it says we should use current for consistency. What we're going to do, background color 3 equals computed function. We'll say if current tile name get is equal to tile model.name, we will return some kind of green, which will be 0.5, 0.25. That's a nice green, I think. Else we will just return white. Yeah, that will do for now. And then we need to do an activated event. So on event activated. And this we will just do current tile name set tile model.name. Lovely jubbly. And we will just drop that into our imports. And we should now be able to select different tiles to build with, if all has gone well. Grass tile. There we go. Perfect. This is just debug UI, so it doesn't need to be the prettiest thing in the world. Can Fusion work on Mac? It works on Roblox. Roblox works on Mac, and therefore, by the transitive property, Fusion works on Mac. Right? Because this is a Roblox technology. This runs on Roblox. So we need to be able to change the rotation. So we should start looking at user input service. This game, get service, user input service. And say rotation. Actually, we should really be consolidating this into function input game processed. We'll say if input.user_input_type is enum.user_input_type.keyboard, and we will format this as a multi-line. That's not what I wanted to do, Studio. This is why I use VS Code. And input.keycode is going to be keycode.r. Needs to be our rotate keybind. We do current rotation. Set current rotation get +1. And just to make sure we don't lose precision, we will modulus 4. Right. Let's say this is rotation. And placement. Our placement is going to be interesting. Because what we now need to do is we're now going to need some sort of way to translate our mouse position to a tile location. And so I'm going to model this as yet more state objects. So I'm going to start with local mouse location. We'll set to state user input service dot user get mouse location. User input service dot input change to connect. Input game processed. And we'll say mouse movement. If input input dot user input type enum the user input type the mouse movement, then mouse location set input dot which for consistency we'll use get mouse location because it's easier and it basically the same thing. It's not that much more performance intensive. And now what I'm going to do is I need to figure out the plane of intersection. So we're going to do an array intersection between the mouse ray coming from the screen and the plane, which also means we're going to need another state object as well. We're going to need the camera C-frame. Camera C-frame equals state works. We should use equal workspace equals game get service workspace like so. And this should be workspace dot current camera dot C-frame. And then we have camera movement. So camera C-frame. Let's say workspace dot current camera get property change signal C-frame. Connect. Then we do workspace dot. Okay, so do camera C-frame set works. I'm really bad at this. Workspace the current camera dot C-frame. Cut there in the end. So now we'll do local mouse ray be computed. Turn ray.new. Camera C frame dot position. In the direction. We want to be straight out of the camera, but from the really we should be using how do you construct this? First we'll do camera C frame get depend on camera C frame. That's important. And then we'll do workspace dot current camera viewport point to ray mouse okay a local mouse location is going to be mouse location get mouse location X and mouse location to Y. Depth we don't care about that much. Sure, we'll go with that. Now we need to do so let's see. I'm on Mac and I use Fusion, so it does, yeah. Name your remotes a mix of capital I and lowercase L, and the exploiters will just give up. Why would I ever do that? The real solution here is to make your remotes not exploitable. Like all this stuff is just useless obfuscation, security for obscurity. It does not make you any more secure. It just makes you feel like you're more secure. And it like any exploiter with a bee in their bonnet will figure it out. They will write down all the names and they will work it out like a puzzle. They can sniff which remotes like your scripts are calling, where they're calling from, and they can figure it out pretty easily. You're just making your life harder for yourself, essentially. Do you prefer to work in Studio or use a tool like Roho? Roho by a country mile, because Studio Editor is still not up to scratch of VS Code. It's just true, right? Like, as much as I really do appreciate all the changes they've been making, VS Code is just better. And that's all there is to it. I mean, there's also the benefit of using things like Git. There's also like the added redundancy of, you know, having your code actually saved in files rather than in a program that is prone to crash whenever it feels like it. I'm just not using Roho for this because I just want to show people that you can just make a game with Fusion without all this other stuff. Do you guys know Don the Mum? I've heard his name somewhere before. I don't really know who he is personally. Are you doing all the UI of Fusion? Thought you would at least do some in Starter GUI. Nope, it's all Fusion. Of course not, UI editor is very noob. How did the guy who made something called Fresh Particles got banned? Right, so does this game work on deferred? I don't know. I mean, I'm pretty sure they're changing their plans around deferred events right now, so I'm not really going to read into deferred events too much until we know more about what's actually happening with them. Should I use Fusion to animate my UI? And if I do, will it break my other scripts? Sorry if the questions are weird. I'm really into Fusion. That's absolutely fine. Ask away, because this is Fusion Friday. We are meant to be talking about Fusion, so... So should I use Fusion to animate my UI and if I do, will it break my other script? I mean, I can't prescribe you what to do for your game. This is a decision that you have to make. I would encourage you to try out Fusion if you're curious, but I can't tell you definitively whether it is the right thing for you or not, because that's a call that you have to make, right? Play around with Fusion a bit, see if it's for you, see if you like the animation tools it offers, and then decide from there, right? I would like to mention that Fusion is, of course, it's still early beta version 0.1. In other words, it is very, very, very new. Don't expect to be using it for anything production ready without big trouble, right? I mean, that's the expectation. The reality is it'll probably be a bit smoother, but just like expect the worst. Alright. Workaround, not fix. Never use Roblox should open up their in-house solution for file synchronization. Apparently they've stopped using it. I don't know how much I believe that, but apparently they have stopped using it. Apparently they're doing everything in Studio now. And I'd like to know exactly how much they're doing in Studio. I can buy that they might be editing their scripts in Studio, but I doubt that they've just abandoned all of their continuous integration tools. The most illegal thing to do on Fusion Friday is praise React. What do you mean? React is cool, right? I'm going to go out there. I'm praising React. React is good, right? I don't know where people get this idea that Fusion is against React. That Fusion is somehow a competition to be better than React. It really isn't. They're two different frameworks for two different kinds of people. And I would be absolutely happy to warmly embrace the React community. I mean, unfortunately, I don't know if that love is reciprocated. I mean, I know there are some React users, at least, who, you know, are appreciative of Fusion. I also know a lot of them who have been dismissive of Fusion throughout its entire 2-year development cycle and who aren't willing to hear anything other than React is the best and everyone should be using it because everything else is useless. Those people know who they are, and I hope to prove them wrong to the bottom of my heart by making something even better than React. But that being said, that is not my ultimate goal with Fusion. If Fusion turns out to be a flash in the pan, I'd be totally fine with that. I mean, do I want Fusion to be the best thing in the world? Of course I do. It's my baby. Does that mean that it will be the best thing in the world? Probably not. Something else will come along that will make fusion redundant. And that'll be a good thing, because when that day comes, we'll be all better off for it. Anyway, what was I doing again? Right. Ray plane intersection. So say this is so we're going to do I need to remember the maths for this now. I don't do well under pressure. Surprise, surprise. So we need the lot C frame, which you can get from the lot model. So say hovered tile location. We'll say hover. We'll say tile hover location. Can be computed. And so say local lot is going to be props.lot get. If lot is nil, then return nil. And then with the local, so array plane intersection is right. So this is the point where I really wish that I had my laptop in front of me so I could get my pen and I could just sketch a diagram of it. But basically, I'm gonna have to word it through instead. So we have a plane at y equals whatever. So we'll say local plane y is going to be lot.model. Well, actually, no, it's just going to be a fixed thing, right? So lot y is going to be half, I would think, right? Yes, it will be half. What I'm going to do, I'm just going to close up the tabs here, keep it clean. Plane y is going to be half. So we have a plane, which is an infinite plane, at y equals half. We have a mouse ray, right? And this mouse ray is originating at some point in space, is pointing in some direction, it's unit length. And we want to find where this ray intersects the plane. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to get the mouse ray. Equals mouse ray get. And say if mouse ray dot direction dot y is greater than or equal to 0, then we'll return nil. Because if the mouse ray is pointing up, then we're not going to be pointing at the thing. Because remember, rays are half lines, not full lines. So we want the thing to be pointing down at minimum. And so now we just need to remember that origin plus direction times t equals point on plane is what we're solving for. And specifically, we do origin.y plus direction.y times t equals plane y here. So this is like origin.y plus direction.y times t is sort of like the equation for a ray, where t is going to be greater than or equal to 0. Plane y here, this is just like the point on the plane. Just set the two equal to each other, we can find their intersection. We just rearrange for t. So minus origin.y. And then we divide. And then we say t, is that, so say local time to intersect equals plane y minus origin.y divided by direction.y. And this will be mouseray.origin.y divided by mouseray.direction.y. We return mouseray.origin plus mouseray.direction times time to intersect. And that gives us the intersection point. And we'll just return that for now. And then we'll just do new part. Anchored is true. Parent is workspace. Current camera. Color we'll just set to color3.new. 010. Material equals neon. Size we'll set to 222. Position we'll set to tile hover location. We'll set to computed. Actually, because tile hover location can be null. Return tile location get or vector3.new. Right. And so if all goes well, this should show us there we go. Beautiful. So you can now see we have our position on the ground plane like that. If we point it off into the sky, it goes away. Lovely, lovely, lovely. Yeah, there's your little bit of maths for the day. Best thing I could do with Fusion is an awesome text table. You were right, so I want to use Fusion. Yeah, Fusion is 2 years old. I started working on this way back when I first learned about React and got really hyped for it and then tried to use it in my projects and then didn't really work out. Yeah, Fusion is essentially me looking for a different kind of declarative UI framework for 2 years and then finding something quite interesting. I've been using React and switched to Fusion, but Fusion is really just amazingly simple. My only real issue is lifecycle, but everything else is simply amazing. Right, thank you very much. I just like the functional style of Fusion. Yeah. Please don't add computed error when yield because performance suck. You guys need to stop worrying about performance. That's my job to worry about when I go to optimize the code when I find a performance issue. In the meantime, you guys should be worrying about developer ergonomics, which is far more important. I'm going to keep on telling you off for premature optimization until you learn your lesson, old man. Wow. Yeah, I can do that too. Wow. Right, anyway. Right, now we need to turn this into a tile location. How the hell do I do that? Alright, so firstly we're going to need the lot C-frame. Right, so lot C-frame is going to be lot.cframe. As you say, relative. We'll call this world position. We'll call this local position. Equals lot.cframe point to object space world position. Say so this would be 0 in the middle of the lot, and then it goes to positive lot size divided by 2 as it goes positive, and negative lot size by 2. So what we're going to do is we're going to then add lot.size divided by 2, which will then normalize that to be 0 to lot size. right? Wait, no, we shouldn't do that. Bye-bye. We pop here to get lot size. There you go. Constants equals require replicated storage dot constants. Like that. That looks fantastic. So that's local position. Coroutine recycling. It can be 4 times faster than rotating signals. Coroutine recycling is an interesting concept. I think I can see what you're talking about. I've never done anything like that before. It's just a bit weird. But again, premature optimization. I won't optimize something until I have diagnosed a performance problem with it. Until that day comes, it stays the way it is originally written. Are we able to script 4D stuff with Fusion? You are able to script whatever you want to script with Fusion. Fusion is not very picky about what you do with it, as is evidenced by the fact that I am currently using Fusion to do maths. Maybe I'll do. No, no, local position. You're making the dog mad. Stop running too fast. Can I feed green beans to Fusion? I mean, you can try feeding green beans to Fusion, but I mean, it's a UI framework. I don't think it has a mouth or a digestive system for that matter. You can feed me green beans though. I'd be happy to eat your green beans. It's good for you. I'm gonna script myself a boyfriend with Fusion. Well, I mean, go for it, right? I mean, there's nothing stopping you. It's just in things I know I have a nice performance trade-off. Look, right? I'm totally 100% willing to believe that coroutine recycling improves performance. I'm not saying that it doesn't. What I'm saying is that you don't always need the absolute maximum performance, right? For example, I could technically make all of my code way, way, way faster if I inlined every single function. But just made it all just one monolithic block. Unrolled all my for loops, all of that stuff. Just made everything just completely pre-processed and just ready to just feed straight into the interpreter with no work having to be done. Would anyone ever do that? No, because it's not worth it. In the same way, we should consider which optimizations are worth it and which ones we should choose to ignore for the sake of code readability. Because the big thing about premature optimization is that if you apply a ton of optimizations to your code, you're going to obscure what your code is actually doing. So it's sort of two sides to this coin. You can either hyper optimize your code and make it unreadable to high hell, or you can refuse to ever optimize your code in favor of it being way more easy to maintain and read and write. Fusion sits somewhere in the middle, as do most projects, but Fusion tends to lean on the side of being easier to maintain because that's just better in the long term. It's less technical debt, and it also means that like with like contributors, like we don't need to heavily comment and document the code. It means that the code basically explains itself. It stops people from feeling super lost when they open up Fusion for themselves. And it also makes my life easier as a maintainer. So, yeah. I put a high premium on code readability and maintainability. Yeah, making my boyfriend real smooth and springy. Yeah. Yeah, I should stop getting distracted. So local position is point to object space. That. I guess we'll just snap to grid. And do ray plane section. Convert to local space. We'll convert to lot space, I guess. Snap to grid. Yeah. Snap to grid is going to be x3 done new. Stop suggesting function, please. And we'll do math.floor local position.x divided by tile size is constants.tile size now, right? Yeah, constants.tile size. Like so. Y is just going to be 0. Z divided by tile size. There's a local tile position, just do vector. We can do that for now, and then we'll just, for debugging purposes, we will return plot.cframe point to object space, as a point to world space, tile position. I just want to see what this looks like. It looks like an error. Oh boy. Attempt to index nil with point to object space. Right, yeah, okay. Lot size, cool. Lot C-frame is going to be lot area dot C-frame. Cool, cool, cool. Let's try this. Yeah, it's certainly interesting to like do performance testing on things like coroutines, but we just have to keep this in context. I think this is the ticket. So tile position, we'll just do vector2.new. This. We'll just assume this is correct for now. We'll say local pos stat. If pos is nil, then return vector3 new. Otherwise, we will return props.lot get dot this is just a not area and not C-frame. It's just debugging stuff. Don't worry about this too much. not area that C frame. We will return lot C frame times C frame dot new. Tile hover location dot x times tile size, tile hover location dot y times tile size. Let's see where this leaves us. Yeah, the size we'll do constants dot tile size 0.2 constants dot tile size. That's not what I wanted to write at all. We'll just set the transparency as well to be a little bit more subtle, so it's not just blindingly green. Attempt to perform multiply on nil and number on line 97. Right, yes. Be using pause instead. Tile hover location. When you sweep and hold it, you only see the color FF4, F4F in my output. FF4, F4F. FF4, F4F. That is going to be a red, right? Let me check that. That's going to be error. That's going to be an error color red. FF4F4F. Yep. I am too good at this. Invalid argument to new vector 3 expected got number. Right, yes, because I am an idiot. Okay, plot area dot size dot y divided by 2. Yeah, I'm kind of zen right now, you know. They're just having a nice little time. Fusion definitely has a few bugs here and there, and I am going to go back and address them. Yeah, I'm calm. Right, so this is definitely working. It's just offset weirdly. And just there you go. So if we go back to, where is it? Tile generation. And we'll now just need to reverse engineer this maths to make it come up with the right answer. Because this will now be very wrong. Every time someone says what or that or anything of hat in it, it turns orange for me because of my YouTube name. Yeah, that's kind of weird, isn't it? Yeah. So you can see it's snapping to the correct grid. It's just that it's now obviously very wrong. We should also be doing that. That, like that. Let's see if that maths has now fixed itself. And the answer is no. No, I got the order of operations wrong. I'll do this. This should be a lot closer. There you go. Almost perfect. It's just off by 1. Right. So this and change it to a Y. I like how I have to approve you guys' chat messages because it's being detected as spam. Fantastic. I'm really impressed with how much I can use Fusion for. This is even impressing me as the creator of Fusion. Like, this is pretty fantastic. You know what's even more fantastic? This is gonna blow your minds, right? Spring. Now we're just gonna have the smoothest ever little thingy. It's gonna be completely dumb. Whoa. How smooth is that? Smoother than your butt cheeks. Oh, damn, I should have said smoother than the butt cheek on a stick. You can reference that, but oh. 50 is uncomfortably smooth. Don't worry, I'll make it more comfortably smooth. There you go. How's that, Noble? Is that a bit more comfortably smooth? I'm just waiting for Noble to respond now. Yeah, I know you clipped it. You go for it, I guess. There we go. Anyway, this is all debug stuff, so we really shouldn't be worrying about this. But yeah, Fusion. So just we'll tone down the transparency a bit. Now we have a tile position. Ooh, you know what we need? We need some way of indicating which way is forward. This would be a good time to go to the toolbox and go find an arrow. This is a nice looking arrow. So we will do children equals new decal. Texture is going to be RBX asset ID. That face is going to be dot. And not C frame is going to be that. And it's going to be times current rotate. It's going to be times. There's client lot because we have it here. And then we'll format it the same way because it's very nice to format it like that. Times current rotation get. I wonder when they'll release Roblox Studio 2 including Lua 2. Right. There you go. So now our debug UI is all good. So now just need to be able to place down our tiles of our choosing. Oh, I'm so excited. This is pleasant. How long should I keep on going for? How long have I been going for already? 2 hours and 15 minutes? Already? What? It's crazy. I can definitely feel my voice going a bit. Must keep on hydrating my throat. There's a placement, say if input.user input type is equal to enum, user input type dot mouse button 1, then we need a remote. We say remote, so say do set tile. And I'm naming it like that to differentiate it from all the other remotes which are sending information to the client. I should really just separate them into 2 different folders. So fire server. So do set tile, we will do lot ID. We'll say props dot lot. Okay, so firstly we should do local lot equals props dot lot get. If lot is nil, then we return lot.id. So we're going to need to change self.id equals ID. That. Model owner, ID, number. And we should really do the same on the server lot as well. Because this is good information to have. So it's the ID tile of the location. So Local, say position equals tile hover location get. If position is not nil, so if we are hovering over a valid position, we do position dot x, position dot y. Let's see. If only it was that easy with React. No, right? Yeah. So React, for all of the things that are good about React, Fusion still beats it hands down with animation. I'm very proud of that. I mean, it's not like React couldn't improve their animation situation. It's just that by this point, they've locked themselves out of Fusion's immense animation flexibility. Like, with Fusion, you can animate anything. React will never be able to do that. React is limited basically to only ever being able to support like tween service on like properties or something, which is really restrictive compared to Fusion. With Fusion, you sort of get into this mindset of being able to animate abstract ideas rather than just physical properties. So in the Fusion Obby example place, I was using springs to animate the dials on like a virtual number spinner. Rather than the actual properties themselves, I was actually like animating like an actual mechanism sort of simulation, which was kind of quite interesting. You would not be able to do that with React. It's so much easier in Fusion. Damn, time zone's different. It's 2 a.m. here. Time flies on Fusion Friday, 6 p.m. here. Voice going, but you want to keep on coding? Simply stop talking and put lo-fi hip-hop on the background. ASMR coding stream. Yeah, I could totally just put music on in the background. I think React was built to be a port of React, which expects CSS to be a thing where hover state animations, etc. are given for free. Absolutely. And in fact, Roblox have transpiled React for some of their latest core UIs. I think Grillme was talking about this on Twitter. Let me just pull it up real quick. Also, can we use vertical tabs? Yes, we can. Can we also go to appearance and hide title bar while in vertical tabs? Absolutely. Wonderful. So we go over to Twitter. We go to GrillMe99. Plays. Yeah. So, I think Bereza tweeted something and then deleted it, but that's not React. Roblox is working on, for some reason, a one-to-one Luauified port of React transpiled from the original JavaScript source. You can check it out in the core packages. Also, when people comment on reduction of errors, blah, 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 blah. But basically, yeah, literally just a port of React, which I think is the wrong approach because React was built for a different environment than Roblox. As you said, there are certain things that React assumes to exist for free that Roblox does not have for free. And so I think this is ultimately the wrong path to be going down. I think this is just a bad approach in general. I think that the way that React is now is better. I don't think React should be transpiled from React. I don't think it should be a one-to-one. Because that's dumb, right? Why the hell would you one-to-one port a web technology into Roblox where you're not using the rest of the web stack? So it really did go downhill ever since LPG lost that control over it, but oh well. Anyway, if that makes some people happy, they can knock themselves out of it. I personally think this is a gross misstep, but yeah. Yep, that's where you've been getting all the terrible errors from the core scripts. Current tile name get. I thought they remade React, not port it. LPG Hat Guy originally did actually recreate React, his own Robloxified version, like properly done, right? What Roblox have done now is they have superseded LPG's React with their own version of transpiled React. So take that how you will. Do I think it's smart? Of course I don't. Yeah, is Roblox is the sort of thing they do. I think they're trying to prove that Luau can be as good as JavaScript, even though Luau is not JavaScript. And I think this is totally dumb. And it's just why. Because I can understand making something in the spirit of React, but adapted for Roblox, which is what LPG's React was. Transpiling it, I think, is a step too far. That's just you are abdicating all responsibility for the API design to people who do not even know you exist and who are not designing with your platform in mind. When is that ever going to work? That's a terrible idea. Yeah, you use LPG's React is what I would say. I mean, you never know. I could be wrong. Maybe this is the best thing in the world. But I really don't think it's going anywhere. I think this is going to end in disaster. But yeah, don't listen to me. I'm just a gay dog on the internet. Bork. Right. So, player tile placement. Replicated storage. Dot remote. Dot do set tile. Dot on server event connect function. Sender. Player. Lot ID number. Or lot ID any. Tile x any. Tile y any. Tile any. So say if. So where's climb up? Oh, server lot, sorry. Actually, there's a better way of doing this. You should move this into lot. Like this. And say if lot ID. Say target lot ID. Lot ID is not target. We'll do it around this way so it reads more like English. So the target lot ID is not this lot ID. Then return. If type of tile x is not number. Or tile x %1 is not 0. Or tile x is less than 1. Or tile x is more than lot size dot x. Then return. And we'll do number like that. Do the same thing for tile y. This I'm just separating this all out. So the type of tile is not a table. Or type of tile dot. What was it again? It was tile dot type. It's not string. Type of tile dot rotation. It's not a number. Really, I should be doing something like this. My formatting. dot tiles, find first child, tile.type. So already I should do that, then return. Cool, cool, cool. So that's our type session, and I don't like having this on multi-line, so we're going to revert that change. Type session should not take up that much space. We are gonna have to split this one on multi-line though, in order to respect the line length limits. And same with this here. We need to change this. There we go. Oh, if it's made by him, I'm definitely not using React. What's wrong with LPG? LPG is cool. And did I get vaccinated yet? Yep, I got double vaccinated. I got that back in August. Things for the core script stuff. Yeah, buy hats. Yeah. But yeah, go get vaccinated if you haven't already. If you haven't got vaccinated already, what are you doing? No, go get vaccinated. It's Pog. So now we just do self set tile x, tile y, tile. Also, we need to assert that self.owner is sender. Now this should work. Is an external editor better than Studio's built-in? In my opinion, yes. Your mileage may vary. Try it out and see if it works for you, right? So let's do house tile. Fantastic, it's not working. Woo! Love it. Print. Blah. Print. Bleh. Print. Blah. Print. Blah. I'm eligible, but I haven't called my GP yet. Do it. Kind of hard to get vaccinated in Brazil as an under 18, but now they have enough doses. Now I got my first dose today. Mileage sounds like food. Yeah. Yeah, it's good that you got your first shot though, right? So that's progress, right? Blah blah. What? Okay. It's failing at blur. Right. So let's see what we're sending to the server. Tile X, tile Y, tile. I know that the target ID is perfectly fine. It's just the structure of Rojo, which breaks it for me. I feel like it makes things very complicated. You get used to it, right? I mean, it's definitely not optimal, but it's the best we have. Right, we need to send a table. Could definitely make that a bit better, but oh well. Mutation get like that. So now this will work. Screamed in the microphone for a while there. I got scared. I didn't scream. You don't hear me scream. I scream very loud and very girly. There we go. Look at that. You can make a whole street. You can make an American suburb kind of deal. Except I'm kind of building on all 4 lots simultaneously. Oops. So let's just add a bunch of trees around this little neighborhood. Despite the fact that every other neighborhood now looks exactly the same. Let's take a picture of that. That's not gonna be a button press tycoon. I mean, we did consider it, but like, red button tycoons are not very technologically complicated. You say. Yeah, or just say homogeneous. Let me define homogeneous quickly. So make sure I'm using it. The same kind. I've been watching too much urban planning YouTube, if you guys can't tell. Building tycoon in the white neighborhood. You created a VR game with Fusion before. I've been prototyping a lot of stuff with Fusion already. I'm not ready to reveal any of those projects, but I have been trying it out. Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, American suburbs are crazy. You guys live in like the most inefficient cities in the world. It's crazy. So you guys just kind of went a bit mad with zoning regulation and like building regulations. That everything has to be like identical, and that all the roads have to be like really, you know, just long and windy, and like it's inefficient, and like population density is like minimum. It's like your separation between like different road types is terrible. It's just like it's like your streets and your roads just all blended into one. It's crazy. I mean, this is obviously not a problem everywhere, but like is a problem in a lot of places in a way that it just isn't in the rest of the world. Uh, rich people can shut up. This is not a rich versus poor divide. This is just the way it is in America, in general, because of policy. This is not a rich versus poor thing, and it kind of blows my mind as somebody who comes from Europe. Right, what are we going to be doing? Right, something I have just remembered is we need to reject off lot positions. So if tile position.x less than 1, or tile position.x more than lot size.x, or tile position.y less than 1, or tile position.y more than lot size.y, then return nil. Is Panera bread good? Y/N. We don't have Panera here in the UK. We have Greggs, and Greggs is objectively better than anything that your American culture could ever bring to the UK. So, it's like Greggs is god tier, right? Ooh, that's an accidental swastika. Oopsie daisies. I didn't mean to do that. Greg's. Yeah, Tay, tell him all about Greg's. Greg's is fantastic. Christmas in July? I don't understand what you mean by Christmas in July, but sure. Greg's is Christmas in July. Greg's is a national treasure. Uh, all right, I know what I was doing. Right. Okay, so this is a client-side issue. So say target lot ID. Yeah, and we just need to do if target lot ID is not lot ID, then return. It's a good thing we caught this. Because that could have been disastrous. A US store called Greg's with that as their slogan, I think. Sure, whatever. Americans are weird. It's not going to be as good as real Greg's. There we go. Lovely. We can build out our own little place. I like building stuff. Building stuff is cool. We could do like a little tree business. We can get some houses going. Yeah. Oh, look at this place. It's so gorgeous, peaceful, mini. So cute. Oh my god. I love it. Let me do a little bit around town. Literally around town. Yeah. I'm having fun, guys. I don't know about you, but I'm just vibing. But also at the same time, I definitely think I need to give my voice a rest. American culture is McDonald's. Sounds about right. I mean, I'm an uncultured British swine, but this seems relatively accurate. Why not hexagon tiles? Hexagons are the bestagons, but rectangles are easier. So take that, CGP Grey. This like Sim City, kinda. It's like a really simple city building game just to show off like how fusion works in an actual game, right? This will be City Skylines in 3029. Put more trees. Hashtag team trees. Voice arrested sounded like a toilet. It's the RDC 2021 thermos flask, not a toilet. No, you can use it as a toilet if you want, but it'd be a bit weird. Right, anything's a toilet if you try hard enough, I suppose. Can you make a day-night cycle in Fusion? Absolutely, and I will do that right now because I've run out of other things to do. Because my brain is currently running like toast. So do day-night cycle. We'll just say, I don't know, local current time equals state 9. Say clock time, state 9. Tasks dot spawn function. And we'll just do on while wait 10. Do clock time set clock time get. We just increment it in like 3-hour increments or something. And then modulo 24. Local smooth clock time equals spring clock time. Then we just do compat smooth clock time on change. We'll do update time. We'll define as a function here. Where we do we'll just quickly bodge this in here just to illustrate. Smooth clock time get. And there you go. Day-night cycle done. How cool is that? We now have a day-night cycle in Fusion. It just does it in steps. Ooh, it's getting dark. There's the moon. Wow, the stars look pretty tonight. Ooh. Oh, right, yeah, because I moduloed it. Oops. My bad. Let's get rid of the modulo. There we go. If sun moved like that IRL, I'd be very scared. Yeah. I mean, what we could probably do. Run service. Do you have it? No. We'll just budget together, right? Run service. Render step. Connect function. I mean, to be honest, at this point, you may as well just be like this. And this will be even better. Yeah, day-night cycles are really just not that hard to do. It's just thanks to Roblox being good. Anyway, that's enough of watching the sun go around. You don't need the day-night cycle, I don't think. Not right now. Thanks for not using os.clock. Yeah, I could do that. I don't think I would. Yeah. I don't know, I'm kind of low energy right now, and my voice is definitely giving out a bit. Make lights fade in from the houses. Yeah, but that's all like aesthetic stuff. We need to like, start thinking about doing some more simulation stuff. Because right now we have a little city builder, but we don't have a city tycoon yet. And so we need to start thinking about how the mechanics of that are going to work. And my brain is currently fried, so yeah. Oh, bye, Eddie. Springs that wrap around when you reach an upper or lower bound. This is something I have been very heavily considering. And yes, this is probably going to happen in some form. I don't know what the API is going to look like though. We do need this though. So I think I'll probably, for the sake of my voice, I will probably leave it here, and also maybe for the sake of my brain as well, but not really. I do want to work on this more, but I do think I need to give it a rest just for a bit, which is kind of a shame. But yeah, we've actually made really good progress today. Like, we actually have placeable houses. That's pretty sick, but we have proper input and everything. We've talked about a bunch of stuff as well. And yeah, like, this is really, really cool stuff. We actually managed to implement it with Fusion, which is kind of funny. But I think just as a final last thing, because I don't want to just leave it like that, it's a bit unsatisfying. I am going to smooth this out with just a little bit of a spring motion, and we'll make it like that. Whoa, whoa, whoa. That's kind of fun. Yeah. I should probably do that properly. There's a local anim tile position. It's going to be spring tile hover location 25. Local anim rotation is going to be spring current rotation 10, 0.5, I don't know. That should look good. Like that. This is so fun. Making stop animating Fusion is just fun, right? It puts the fun back in animating. Yeah, we definitely need the wrapping springs though, I think. So smooth. But yeah, we could definitely knock this up to 25, and this could definitely knock up to 50. Kind of curious if anything happens if you're on deferred mode. Lol, can you try? It does. I don't know. Fun. Will wrapping springs fix the weird bug that happens with Gunner's tilt replication? I think that's just more generally down to the fact that I'm using axis angle representation for C-frame in a way that doesn't really work well. So I want to look at using quaternions with properly wrapped springs as well, because the way that all rotations work with springs right now is they act sort of like torsion springs, where sort of like if you do a full 360-degree rotation and then let go of a torsion spring, it'll go all the way back round. But like, what we really want it to work more like is sort of like an internal spring, where it's sort of like tries to push it outwards by the shortest route. I don't know if that makes any sense whatsoever to anyone but me, but basically we can approximate that using a wrapped spring, which, yeah, it'll be fixed. But yeah, anyway, I should go give myself some rest, I think, because I'm definitely feeling it. So, I mean, sorry for cutting it a bit short. I mean, we have been going for a while and we have got a lot done, which is good, but I do need the rest. So, by the way, quick question. Yeah, sure, go for it. Uh, Going to bed? I wasn't planning on going to bed. I just need to rest my voice mainly. I mean, I could if I wanted to. It is 11:50. When you got vaccinated, did your arm also feel like falling out? No, I got Pfizer and I was completely unaffected by it. Like I got the jab. It was just like, okay, cool, and then I went home, took a nap, woke up, I felt fine. And the second time I got the jab, went home, didn't even take a nap. And I didn't notice it at the time. It's like nothing ever happened. So yeah, can you give us a good night kiss? I reserve that for my homies because my homies are special. My besties. Like, got Pfizer and my arm felt like snapping in half. I mean, uh, apparently whether you react to it or not says something about whether you've encountered COVID before or not, or like whether your body's encountered COVID before or not. I don't have any proof or evidence to back this up, but this is something I heard from my mum. And my mum is not that dumb, so I would assume that's probably rooted in some amount of truth. Um, Felt really dizzy after the second jab. Yeah, I don't know. It was just the second jab was just the same as the first one, which was just nothing. No. Just like mildly sore is probably like the most I would ever describe it as. Like, I mean, if I ran my hand over it, then it'd be sort of like, oh, there's a bump there because obviously, you get that after you get a jab. And like, yeah, maybe that makes it a bit more awkward to move my arm because that whole thing is like slightly swollen up a bit. It wasn't painful, it wasn't dizzying, it wasn't sickening. None of that. I just ignored it. Like, I'm just built different. Yeah, maybe. Anyway, I better go before I before my voice just gives out proper. So, thank you guys so much for tuning in today. We've done a fair bit. We've talked a fair bit as well. I feel like this is a very chill stream. I'd love to work more on this next time, that even more. Hopefully my voice will hold up better next time. Maybe I'm just not in the swing of doing live streams or something. I don't know. But like, here's hoping. So, anyway, thank you guys for tuning in. Don't forget, if you want to try Fusion for yourself, you know the URL. It's ltob.github.io/fusion. And just click Get Started. And you have everything you need, including a full tutorial for like getting started, how to handle events, storing state, all this stuff. It's all right here. Anyway, thank you guys for tuning in. And I will go give my voice a rest. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. And I will see you guys next Friday for some more Fusion. All right, have fun.